My name is Tamitha Skov, and I want to open your world to something you probably never knew existed. It's a new field called space weather. Now, what is space weather? Well, most people believe because it's got the word space in it, it's got to be like astronomy. But it's so much more, and here's why. Space weather affects you. Think of all the technology we take for granted, like GPS on cell phones, drones that fly around, commercial airline flights, satellite internet, satellite TV, even radio broadcasts. These are all affected by space weather. You know what else is affected? Communications, especially the kind that happens during an earthquake or a hurricane. Imagine not being able to get a hold of your loved ones when it's most important, and not really knowing why. So this is where you come in. Now, I've been doing space weather forecasts on YouTube and sometimes even live on television for about the past 4 years. I do these forecasts about once a week, but it's so not enough when it comes to doing the weather. Yet, there's only so much I can cram in on the weekends. So, I've decided to take a risk, and with a lot of encouragement, I've dropped down to part-time at my aerospace job so that I can do more of what you've asked me to do as the space weather woman. That is, create more forecasts, create more educational content, and create a future for space weather broadcasting. So that's what I'm going to do. But this isn't something I can do alone. Now, Patreon is a site that allows me to offer you rewards in return for joining this community at whatever level suits you. The rewards start as simply as joining the wonderful World of Space Weather forum that I've created, which is really the heart of this project. It's where we can discuss things in far more detail than we ever have on any other social media platform. Now, rewards at higher tiers will give you access to behind-the-scenes footage from backstage on TV sets and interview sets to scientific conferences all over the world. I'll teach live video mini courses on space weather. You can even schedule a one-on-one private video call with me if you'd like. These are just a few of the ways that I can enable you to dive as deep as you want and make space weather part of your world. You'll also get sneak peeks into my plans and the powerful force that drives this vision. In fact, I'm hoping you'll become part of this powerful force. This is your chance to help me build something so much bigger than all of us, something that will benefit this generation and generations to come. It's all up to you how much you'd like to get involved. So this is a summary of essentially everything I'm going to say in this video. And if this is all you need to hear, then please go to www.patreon.com/spaceweatherwoman and become a patron right now. I've created a charity organization solely for this purpose, so your patronage is totally tax deductible. And detailed descriptions of the reward tiers are on this page, along with the link to join in the description below. So who is this person you are giving your hard-earned support to, and what do you get for becoming a patron? Well, I am an artist and a space physicist who's worked as a scientist both in academia and in the aerospace industry for about the past 20 years. And I'll go more into my educational background in a moment. But you may recognize my alter ego, the Space Weather Woman, from television series I've done for the History Channel and the Weather Channel. I've appeared on NASA TV for the Smithsonian Museum and for NASA's coast-to-coast coverage of the total solar eclipse in 2017. And most recently, I was featured in the January-February issue of Popular Science magazine. And if none of that rings a bell, then maybe you've caught me live on the Weather Channel when I'm doing forecasting during a big solar storm and there's a good chance for aurora in the United States. And during the recent devastations last year caused by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, my forecasts were actually picked up by the Russian state-owned network REN TV. And I can't tell you how grateful I was to see my forecast translated into another language, especially since so few understood how much the sun disrupted emergency communications during those disasters. Now, my formal education began back in 1993 when my field was still called space physics, when we didn't even use the name space weather yet. And I worked on spacecraft like Cassini that went to Saturn and Near that landed on an asteroid and set the stage for Rosetta. I did studies on Venus and Mars and, of course, the Sun. And I obtained 2 bachelor's degrees, one in physics and one in physical chemistry, and then I went on to get a master's and a PhD in geophysics and planetary physics at UCLA. Through the years, I've published about 60 publications that are scientific and technical in accredited journals, so, I've done a little bit of work. But things have really changed since my early days. Back in 2002, when I graduated and I started working for Northrop Grumman, building satellites, space weather was something only scientists talked about. And a few years later, when I came to the Aerospace Corporation, I came because I wanted to help raise awareness of space weather while helping agencies like NASA and NOAA keep their space assets safe, especially when there were storms on the sun. And that was 14 years ago. And it's pretty much what I've been doing ever since. And my work has taught me so much about all the technologies that are susceptible to space weather. In fact, this is why I began reaching out to you on social media, because I had learned how industry dealt with the effects of space weather, but I wanted to understand how we as a society deal with its effects on our modern world. And what you all have taught me has been mind-blowing. You'd be amazed to know how much space weather already affects our everyday lives. So this is my chance to share with you all that I have learned. I hope I've given you a sense of the urgent responsibility I feel to expand our understanding of space and how it connects with our world. There's no time to waste because we're rapidly advancing beyond the boundaries of our own planet on our way to becoming a spacefaring society, and it's very exciting. On the horizon, I see a future in which we are all connected with a global awareness of space weather. So let us stand at the rim of space together and reshape what we think of it. Help me create a world prepared for the future.